appreciate the privilege and the opportunity to share with you guys this evening, and I hope it's going to be enlightening and interactive as well, because we're talking about a pretty interesting topic. I'm trying to share my screen. Just a minute. Mm, okay. Can you see my screen now? I hope you can see my screen. Anybody?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right. So, like I said earlier, we'll be talking about upskilling for impact, bridging the skill gap between education and industry needs. And this topic, as we all know, is in commemoration of the World Youth Skills Day that was celebrated on Monday, 15th July. So we are going to be looking at how do I upskill, and how do I, you know, adjust to the changing terrain of skills and human capital development in the 21st century. Okay, so before I go further, I would just like to do a brief introduction of myself again. I'm Olutomi Wabinoyo, and I'm a PhD candidate at the Institute for Development, Social Development at the University of the Western Cape. I'm studying development studies, and I'm also visiting the Royal University in Bochum here in Germany through the Erasmus grant. And I'm also a mindfulness and meditation trainer at the World Peace Initiative in Thailand. And of course, I work with the Sapphires Development Initiative, and I also want to use this medium to appreciate my colleagues who have joined me in this call from the Sapphires Development Initiatives. I can see a few of them, so thank you so much for joining the call. And I'm passionate about quality education, about digital inclusion, social inclusion as a whole, the agenda 2030 for sustainable development, which says no one should be left behind. So yes, that's like my um, mantra, my philosophy, and this has permeated, or it has cut across every activity of mine, both in the academia, in the civil society, and the private sector. Okay, so enough about me. Let's go into the topic for today. Why is upskilling necessary? Before we're going to talk about that, what do we know to be upskilling? When we talk about upskilling, we're talking about enhancing our skills, skill up, right? From the two words skills and up. So it means I'm trying to move my skills to the next level. So it can entail two things. Number one is acquiring new skills, more enhanced skills, or I'm trying to improve on my existing skill. So upskilling basically is moving my capacity to the next level, which I love to call capacity building. Capacity building is the same thing as upskilling, such that you are trying to, acquire more skills or get more competent in whatever field you are talking about. So why is upskilling necessary? Why should we? Of course, number one, to stay competitive in the job market. We know that every day graduates are being churned out. NYSC registration came out yesterday, for example, and it came out just for one day. Gone are those days NYSC registrations can stay for a week, for 2 weeks. Now it's just a day because the portal is overloaded. So what I'm trying to say is there are lots of graduates out there, and many people are competing for the same opportunity you have. So yes, the level of competition now is very, very high. So for you to still, remain competitive, for you to stand out, for you to have a comparative advantage in the labor market, then it is important for you to upskill. It is important for you to build capacity. I'm going to be interchanging these two words, upskilling and building capacity. So it is very, very important for you if you want your CV, for instance, to stand out, you know, um, when the HR is reviewing, you need to be able to build more capacity and get new skills. And also, the reason why we upskill is to adapt to new technologies and trends. Every one of us, I'm sure we are aware that we are in the age of artificial intelligence. And this is the 21st century where technology is taking over every sphere, every sector of the society. So it is important to be able to, adapt to these trends as it is going. There are groundbreaking innovations every day. You know, you see different innovations in terms of gadgets, devices, new AI assistants, as the case may be, softwares and applications that make life easier and all of that. So for us to be able to make use of this technology, these gadgets, these devices, for us to be able to follow the trend without being outdated or without, people calling us archaic, you really need to, build more capacity to adapt to these technologies and also to enhance your career prospects. Like I said earlier, even if you have a job, some of us are looking to be employed, but let's even assume you have a career already and you're building it. In order to enhance your career prospects, in order for you to get that promotion, in order for you to get to the next level in your career growth, you need to actually say get certified in a course or get um competency in a particular skill. And of course, the fourth reason why you should build capacity and skill up is to increase earning potentials. We all know, for instance, that people who get more skills, for example, in data analytics, in data science, the kind of money they earn is very, very high, compared to someone who does not have that skill. And even, for example, in academic research now, there are some new skills that we need to take on. I mean, new digital skills. You need to be competent and proficient in some softwares now, like R, like Python, and all of these things. So if you are still at the point of Excel, you are still at the point of SPSS, then you know that, okay, you are not adapting as you should. And this might, of course, affect your employer promoting you or increasing your salary. So because of these things, which is basically to make our lives easier, to contribute to our personal development, it is important to actually build more capacity. It is important to want to get more skills, and it's important to improve on existing skills. So if we should talk now and I tell you, what degree do you have? Many of us might be quick to say, okay, I have a bachelor's degree in this or that. I have a master's degree in this or that. And some say, okay, I'm on my way to getting a bachelor's degree, or I'm on my way to getting a diploma, OND or HND, as the case may be. Oh, I have an NCE already, as the case may be. So either OND, HND, bachelor's, master's. The next question is, do you feel this degree is all you need for your preferred career? We can engage the comments section as well. I want to see how I can connect so as to, we can engage in the comment section. I would read from the comment section, okay? So that's because it's supposed to be a discussion, but because of our time, I want us to be able to have time for questions, as the case may be. Yes. So the slides are not changing. Hmm. What about now?
They are now.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Sorry about that. I'm just saying it. Um. Okay, I guess I'll just good. Okay. Okay. So um I spoke about why it is necessary, right? Upskilling. So I won't need to go over that again, but this the slide for that. Okay. So yes, as I was saying, what degree do you have? What are you trying to study? Do you feel that bachelor's in economics is all you need for your career growth and development? Do you feel your master's is what you need? For example, um, I graduated from the University of Ibadan, studied economics in my bachelor's degree, and I can tell you that at the end of 400 level, I could not write my bachelor's thesis. I mean, my final year project. I could not write it. I outsourced it actually because I didn't know anything about research. Now, less than 5, 6 years along the line, I'm already into research, publishing papers. And so, what I'm trying to say is the skills to actually engage in research for me, as an example, did not come from the degree I had. I mean, the bachelor's degree I have anyway. It was when I got to master's and I was going towards the second semester of my first year. Then I realized, okay, I actually need to engage in research. If it is something you know if it is something that is very very important for me to do. So um and my case is not unique. There are many of us like that. In fact, there are some people who studied, let's say, mass communication and they are working in banks right now. Some people studied biochemistry and they have a job opportunity in Access or Guarantee Trust Bank, First Bank, as the case may be, right? So that is to tell us that yes, education is actually good, but we all know the way the system works here in this part of the world, right? Um, it is really it's really disheartening that the Nigerian system, education system, does not really favor upskilling per se. And that is one thing you must know. And this is why you shouldn't rely just on your certificate. I mean your academic certificate, your academic achievements. You can't rely on that. That is not sufficient enough. Before I continue, let me read some comments in the chat box about what we're talking about. Thank you so much, sharing from my opinion. This is Bosede Adeni Bagbe. It is not only a degree needed, especially in a technology advancing work. However, I found out just now that I'm guilty of this as well when you mentioned the Excel part. I'm still learning a lot about Excel, and now it feels that there's a lot to know. Oh, don't feel overwhelmed, don't feel pressured. I really understand that, and I can relate because you are still trying to grapple and understand one software or tech application and another one is out. Yes, that's how the world works, but you don't need to be pressured. Take your time and just be consistent in doing what you're doing. Okay. So Odun Ayola said, I'm currently studying a medical course, and what I'm learning in school is not sufficient for me to fit in the public health field. Exactly what I'm saying. And this is really, disheartening because we live in Nigeria such that imagine a pharmacist, for example. I was talking to a pharmacist outside the country, and she was like, her counterparts in Nigeria can't even mix drugs after 5 years at the university. They don't allow them to, create their own drugs. Meanwhile, this lady from 300 level has been mixing drugs, I mean, physically in the lab. And so, because of this, you see that there is a need for you to personally build your own capacity. There is a need for you not just to sit down with what you are taught in class, not just to sit down with your certificate, but to get more knowledge, get certified in more areas, in different learning institutions. The terrain is better, especially outside the country, to be honest. It's really better, but it is important for us to say, okay, we can't wait till we get out of the country before we say, okay, I'm going to upskill. In fact, it is your upskilling that will give you more opportunities, outside the shores or beyond the shores of Nigeria. So that is why it is important for you to try to build capacity. So for so which areas, I received the question, part of the questions I received before the meeting, what are the skills I should look towards? What are the skills that I'm probably selling in the market right now that, you know, I think you can do? So I have some here, but it is important for you to know that in the changing landscape of skill development that we have soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills are, of course, the ones that are not that affect more of our personality, that affects our disposition and attitude. Okay. And hard skills talks about, of course, skills that you can learn that involves your brain and your hands, as the case may be. So this soft skills and hard skills are very, very important. And don't be surprised, with the advent of artificial intelligence and innovative technology, soft skills will be more in demand. Because it's going to get to a point, machines will take the place of humans in terms of developing software, in terms of manufacturing things and all of that. But machines can't think critically, you know machines can't be creative like humans will be, and that is the truth. ChatGPT, for example, when you input something into it, it gives some responses. It cannot give beyond what is already built to give as a response. It cannot do beyond it, so it is limited still. No matter how wide the database may be, it is still limited. But the human mind is creative, innovative, and when you push the boundaries of your mind, you can actually achieve great things. So pay attention to these soft skills in this year 2024 and beyond. Critical thinking and problem solving is an important skill to get. Creativity and innovation, the ability to be able to pioneer new ideas, new projects. Effective communication, the ability to be able to to be able to pass across effectively the message, pass across what you are trying to talk about. The ability to, for example, as a researcher, effective communication will be the ability to present your study findings, to present your results. As a salesman, effective communication is the ability to be able to convince your buyers, right, your clients, on that particular business deal, as the case may be. So that's a soft skill you need to learn if you want to learn. For example, you pitch a lot, probably for business grants or for academic grants, as the case may be. You must have good communication skills. Then continuous learning and professional development as well. Adaptability and flexibility. You must be able to adapt and be open-minded. Yes, and for the art skills, of course, digital marketing is fast becoming a thing. E-commerce, we all know about this, Amazon, KDP, as the case may be, and all of that. Software development, data science, that's like the new oil. Yes, data science and cybersecurity is one of the areas now that is getting the attention. Data analyst, I see lots of people dumping their certificates and going into data analytics, going into data science, going into cybersecurity, the tech world. Why? Because the money is there. Okay, so before I continue, I would like to also read from the chat box. I've seen some interesting comments. Okikiola Mile Kobangboye said, for me, I study theater and media arts at the bachelor's level. I plan on going into climate journalism now. So I agree I will need upskilling to get into my desired career. True, true. You're correct. AG Mofo Scholar says, pardon me if I did not pronounce the name correctly. I'm currently studying something very far from my ambition. I'm studying cell biology and genetics, and while I love the course, it clashes with my interest as I want to learn front-end development as well. Well, like I said, you can, of course, keep doing your course, the cell biology and genetics, and also enroll for a course in front-end development. Along the line, I'm going to introduce some resources that you can actually use to learn some of these tech skills for almost for free or at a very low cost. Sibyl Alice said, I studied agricultural and applied economics. I plan on establishing various agricultural ventures and enterprises. I still have to upskill to go further in my career. Great, yes, you're totally correct. And Queen Huma Aaron says, I'm studying microbiology, and I know it's not going to help me in the area I want to indulge in. I plan on taking more freelancing courses to help me better. So I definitely need us. You are correct. Totally correct. Totally correct. Yes. Busola said the same thing. So you see, we all are experiencing, similar situations where what we study in school eventually might not even be what we're going to you know, um build a career in. So that is why upskilling is very important for each and everyone. And even if it is what you want to build a career in, you still need to upskill, to stand out. The competition is much, and I'm sure you would agree with me. The competition is much. So to stand out, you need, to build capacity in that particular area. So yes, these are the top 5 relevant skills that you should look at. And pay close attention to. Yeah, another thing to look at, income impact. So we're talking about upskilling, right? Yes, and there's an impact dimension to that. That part of why we build capacity is to make people better than you made them. So impacting lives positively. So which one would you rather go for? I also like to hear your thoughts in the chat box. Would you like to go for income, or you rather impact lives positively and not bother about the income, or you are focused on income and you are not ready to impact lives and you're not ready to impact the environment or the society as a whole? So I would like to hear your thoughts about this as well, um, as we continue, because income and impact, or maybe um, can I allow maybe 1 or 2 persons to speak, or just one because of our time? We can do both. Yes, yes, we can do both. Of course. But let's assume there's a trade-off. Let's assume there's a trade-off. Emmanuel says impact will always result to relevance that brings about income. Impact will. So that means we shouldn't focus on income. Emmanuel is of the opinion that we should focus on impact and not income. So don't bother about getting richer. Focus on making lives better. Good. Susan said, I think I will go for income first. However, I would like to use my income to make impact. Another interesting point. Yes. So I would make money first, then use my money to make impact. Good. Good. Very, very interesting. Mary Cynthia says income are necessary, especially in times like this. Exactly, you're correct. In this Nigeria that we are, yes, income is very, very necessary. Then Busola Fagbero said both. Right. Both said they said, I will agree with Emmanuel. Your level of impact will influence your income. Hmm. Okay. Um, Naomi says, I would like a bit of both. Yeah, great. Praise said, I'm too much of an empath not to care about the impact. I love money, no doubt, but I'll never be satisfied. I'll get depressed. Another very interesting angle. You know, I'm not sure if many of us or all of us did economics in secondary school, but if you remember your economics in secondary school, human wants are unlimited. So the more we get, the more we want to get. That's another angle. So we can never get enough income. We always want to get more and more. Very interesting angle. And Wester Shone said, I don't think you can make impact without generating some sort of income. Really, really true. Really, really true. I agree to that as well. And Christabel says, I think over time, impact brings income. Great. Martin said, I think I'd rather go for impacting lives because it's from providing solutions and impacting that income comes. Impact will be the first for me. Okay, so everybody is saying impact. Okay, I have another different opinion. Scholar says, I can't offer something I don't have. I can't impact if I don't have the facilities to. So income first. Yes, thank you, everybody. I can go on and on. Very interesting, very interesting, very interesting, very interesting. But all of us are correct. It depends on the angle we are bringing it from. Because income and impact can actually go hand in hand, or I can say one can influence the other. And then, but if you are going to ask me personally, okay, let me speak for both. For example, income is when you go after income, you know, you build capacity, you get money, you can use from that money to make impact, which is really, really good as well. And at the same time, when you go after impact, um you volunteer, you know, maybe you have an initiative, and over time, you, let's say you get an opportunity or a grant or something, you know, for example, Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, for example, the Regional Learning Center Fellowship or the Mandela Washington Fellowship is a fully funded trip. Then you might get some stipend. I don't know if they are still paying stipend, but they used to. Then or maybe a grant for your project, which will include, you know, some sort of income for you too as the project facilitator and all of that. So impact that way we also lead to income. But if you are going to ask me personally, prefer I prefer to upskill and have a level of income before impact, because now impact is expensive as well. Yes, volunteering is expensive. To carry out a project, a community project, for instance, is not free. So you won't even be able to impact as much as you want if you don't have your income. You see, if you don't have at least a level of income, you won't be able to impact the way you want to. But when you upskill and you have income, then you are able to, you know, carry out, for example, an organization can carry out some sort of corporate social responsibility, you know, organize volunteering initiatives, organize different, you know, intervention programs that would impact lives, that would impact the environment, that will impact the society at large. And that is why we must not just, you know, it's very beautiful to volunteer. I love it. I volunteer a lot, yes, but it is important to have a level of income. If not, you might be frustrated in your volunteering. You might be frustrated in impacting lives if there is not something by the side. But both can go side by side. And if you need to prioritize one at the point, especially at this point where we are all youths and we are trying to build something for ourselves, then it is important to prioritize your income. And from your income, you can also have an initiative, or, you know, can volunteer as the case may be. Either ways, income, impact, they are complementary. Both of them go hand in hand. So it is important to note that. Okay, so to one of the most important question, how do I upskill as an individual or an organization? You know, many of us already said, okay, I'm studying this course, I have an interest in another. So how do I go about it? And the first thing, if you want to upskill and build capacity, is to identify where you want to build the capacity. Where do you want to upskill? Where do you want to, which new skill do you want to take on? Don't just say, oh, I want to do a lot of courses, I want to explore and all of that. It is important to specialize. It is important to say where am I going to upskill? You know, I love that someone already identified, okay, front end development. I want to know more about that. So we are not thinking 10 things at once. It is very, very important to identify the field for upskilling. Then the next one is set clear and smart goals. After you are sure that this is what I want to do, this is where I want to build capacity, this is the skill I want to take on now. Now set goals, set milestones for yourself. Smart goals here is not just smart, it means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So if you are setting your goals, you must be specific, just like what I said earlier. Be focused. Don't be vague about it. Set specific goal of, okay, for example, you want to learn front-end development. Okay, I want to learn the basics by week 1. At week 2, I must go into the intermediate level. Oh, by week 3, I must be at the advanced level. By week 4, I must be at the professional level. This is just an example. Be specific about what you want to do. Set it out. Then be able to measure it. Oh, out of, in this course, we have 12 topics. Okay, week 1, I'm taking 3 topics. You must be able to, make it clear. It must be measurable, achievable. Don't say, oh, I want to finish 12 topics in 2 days. You might not be able to get what you should get, right? So ensure it is realistic, it is achievable, it is relevant. Ensure those goals are relevant to, the field you want to upskill in, and also fix a time. Don't just say, oh, I want to do this course. Many people do that. They just start the course. They don't give themselves a specific time, a deadline. So you say, in 2 weeks, I must complete this course. Since it is self-paced, oh, I can finish it in 7 days. Oh, it's going to take me some time to learn the nitty-gritty of this skill. Okay, I'm taking 3 weeks. Do you understand? It is really, really important for you. The third step, after setting clear and smart goals, is be accountable. Accountability is very, very important, either as an individual or as a body, as an entity. You have to be accountable, because there is no how you will grow without accountability. So you've already identified the field or the skill you want to build capacity in. You set your goals. You need to be accountable to yourself, and you can also get people to, to keep you accountable on that journey. You see, you have friends, you have, colleagues, you have people probably that you look up to. You tell them about the skill you're about to, the journey you're about to start in capacity building. Then you tell them, okay, I'm going to be sending my progress to you every week, every 2 weeks. You see, so that if you don't hear from me in a week, please call me, please mail me, please message me that, oh, how far with this and that. That keeps you accountable, and to yourself as well. You should be accountable. You can, engage in journaling. You can write, daily entries, weekly entries about your progress, measuring and evaluating yourself on what you can do better, on what you did well, what you can improve on, and all of those things. So accountability is very key for growth. So it is important for you to be accountable if you want to upskill as a person. The fourth step is engage learning platforms. You see, you cannot, of course, know it all. And like we said, we are in the 21st century where there are many digital platforms where you can learn. I'm going to share some in some minutes time. So engage learning platforms, ensure you use them, and to build your skills. And even if it is a vocational skill you want to learn, there is anything and everything online that you can learn. You want to learn how to be a good baker, you want to learn how to be an outstanding chef, you want to learn how to, do makeup and all of that. I mean, vocational skills. Everything is online now. So engage learning platforms. It's not just the tech skills you're going to see online. No matter the level of skill, you should engage learning platforms for that. And the next step would be practice. You must practice. If you don't practice, you don't become a professional, right? So you keep doing it, keep setting your goals, keep meeting goals, be accountable, engage in learning platforms, So there's a part of commitment and consistency. Keep practicing over and again. And even as a student, you can also train others. One of the things this will do to you is when you train others, you are actually learning more as well. I'm sure some of you can relate when in secondary school, probably there is a topic, or even in the university, there is a topic you just finished reading. You just realize that when you explain that same topic to your friends, it sticks better. I mean, your brain can actually retain it faster because you just finished teaching others. So that is the importance of teaching people, training others. And also, when you have that skill, you can train others to give back. Don't forget when we're talking about income and impact. So training others on what you know can actually, that way you are making impact, in your society. So training others is also a way to upskill, because the more you train, the more you teach, the more you know, and that way also you are building more capacity. Step 7 is maximize technology. Don't be averse to technology. Don't be a pessimist. I mean, don't be someone that you know gets discouraged or doesn't like technology. There are people like that. You need to be open-minded, be flexible. You need to learn to adapt, maximize technology. It is very useful for a lot of things, and life is easier. Like the way research is being done, for instance, 5 years ago is not the same way it's being done now. Things are a lot easier. Of course, it takes more commitment, and of course, consistency, diligence, all those things are still there. But technology has made life easier, basically. So learn to maximize technology in your career growth and development, in your upskilling, especially when your skill is not maybe tech related, maybe it's vocational related. Then you can use technology to stand out, amongst your let's say fashion designers. When you maximize technology, probably your clothing line is online and all of that, you can maximize that. You can maximize technology, probably have a digital platform to show your designs, your clothes designs, or for them to order your clothes, as the case may be. That will set you apart than other sellers that are doing the same thing, right? That are engaged in the same business. So maximize technology in all you do, in your building capacity, in your upscaling. It is important to take technology along. And also, step 8, just like practicing, keep learning. You see, no one is an island, and in as much as you are living, you keep learning. So be have the status of a student, you know throughout your lifetime, and the more you learn, the more you upskill. So having known that, What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Okay, before that, I should also try to answer some questions I got before the chat box is very, very active. Good, good, good. Okay, so um let me look at the questions. Just a minute. Mm, Okay, so um the question here says, what how can I introduce my 6-year-old girl to skill acquisition? Is age 6 too early to begin? No, age 6 is not early to begin because in fact, from 3, 4, 5, it is important to start, training the kid in the way he or she should go. See, and because at this particular early childhood stage, they begin to actually form some salient skills, and they are very, very like their brain is at the optimal, level. So what they pick at that point really can stay with them for a lifetime. And that is why we see, the advent of children using tablets and all of that, getting used to gadgets and devices even from a very tender age. So you can introduce your 6-year-old to skill acquisition. There are different digital learning platforms, where you can, for example, you can arm a child with tech skills, even from that age. They can learn how to code, they can learn how to build games on their own. And we have different websites like the Khan Academy, like schools, like Solo Learn. These different websites can actually help your child to, build tech skills, for example. And there's something we call learning play-based learning, where you learn through play. This kind of things is also very, very good for children. It helps them build their cognitive skills as well. So 6-year-old is not too early. It's not too early. That's very, very perfect. And then another question says, the term skill acquisition seems so rampant these days. I find myself getting information overload and anxiety, and it's hard to break out of the information gathering stage. How can I get over this? Yes, I think I can also understand what you're trying to say. You keep getting lots of information, you have access to information every now and then, but how to make use of it, how to it just looks like you are gathering the information but you are not using it. What should you do? Very simple. Use it. Very simple. Start from one. At times when we listen to a whole lot of things, we get overwhelmed. So what you should do is, if it will take you to not gather new information till you have used the ones you have already, so be it. Be patient with yourself. So you are, in as much as you are patient with yourself, you need to be diligent as well. You need to be hardworking. There is no upskilling without diligence. There's no upskilling without hard work. You need to put in the effort. So once you're able to do that, it's called skill acquisition for a reason. You need to acquire it. So what you need to do is, the information you have, the existing information you have, make use of it, maximize it before you take in new ones. Apply the ones you have first before taking in new ones. That will really help you. Okay, so what are the most important things one should keep in mind when learning a new skills? Well, that's what I said earlier. I said I set clear goals, be accountable, engage learning platform, practice, train others, maximize technology, and keep learning. So when you are taking on a new skill, you should, set clear goals and all of these things that I said. Find a supportive community, just like the one we are right now, and or a partner, as the case may be, and be patient with yourself. It's a lifelong thing. Rome was not built in a day, right? And since learning is lifelong, then just be patient. It takes time for these things to mature. All right, so let me continue my presentation. I think of, yeah. I've been able to cover most of the questions. So, what to do? Modernize your skills. Like I said, we're in the 21st century. Tech, tech is like the new oil, the new gold mine. So, anyhow, technology will, you know, promote your career or promote what you do. Get to it. So modernize your skills, prioritize soft skills as well. As much as we are talking about tech, don't forget creativity, innovation. You see, don't forget these soft skills we talked about at the beginning, which is critical thinking, problem solving, effective communication, creativity and innovation, continuous learning and professional development, adaptability and flexibility. These are really, really vital, and they are important as well. In as much as we want to get the hard skills, the data science, the data analytics, e-commerce, and all of that, you must also ensure that your personality, is valuable, even in the labor market, your disposition, your attitude, because when you have these soft skills, there's a particular way you position yourself that makes you outstanding from others in the labor market. So prioritize soft skills. I talked about that. Be open-minded to internship, networking and mentorship opportunities. I'm sure in this organization there are different opportunities to network, to discuss, to share different, professional development opportunities and all. So be open-minded. Don't just say, oh, this is scam. Oh, this is not going to work. Oh, I'm not going to complete it. Oh, I'm not qualified. Oh, I'm not this and that. Just be open-minded and see what comes out of it. You see. So, and when there is networking sessions as well, please don't shy away from networking sessions. I think I also got a question like that how important is networking to upskilling? Very, very important, because when you network and you might network with people who have what you need and you don't even know they have it. You might happen to meet people who are able to help you, who are able to give you the needed skills and resources you need to, upgrade and all of that. And that is why networking is really, really important. I tell this story a lot. I met a particular assistant professor in 2022 in a conference in Geneva, Switzerland, and we happened to talk. Then she got to know about what we do at the Sapphires Development Initiative and all of that. And from 2022 till now, we've been getting different opportunities, professional development opportunities from our organization, because she also happens to have a research organization, like an NGO based kind of thing in Switzerland. And because of that, say 10 minutes, 15 minutes interaction we had, even till now, we are still able to get, opportunities for professional development from her. So you'll be surprised where you would meet, and it might not even be where you are expecting, it might not be who you are expecting. So that's why it's important to be open-minded to networking. It is really, really key. Some opportunities don't come by application, it's by recommendation. You need to take note of that. So yes, when it's application, at times you can say, oh, merit, may the best man win. But at times, I can tell you that some opportunities come by recommendation only. And it's not because, oh, you want to use leg, the Nigeria kind of, oh, you want to use leg. No, it's because they recommend who they trust. They recommend who they know is capable for the job. They recommend who they know is competent for the work, you see. So that is why it is important to network, is when you have this opportunity to be in mentorship sessions as well, please be open-minded to it. And also internship opportunities. Don't say, oh, will they pay? Don't let the payment be the first thing that comes to your mind. So if you need to volunteer, volunteer. If you need to intern at a place, intern. Be open-minded, because you never can tell when a paid position will come forth. And of course, when there's an open slot for a paid positions, the volunteers have the comparative advantage to outsiders. So these are things you should actually look at in order to build your capacity and upskill in your desired profession, as the case may be. While being open-minded, explore new career paths and job opportunities as well. It is very, very important. Okay, so um, these are different websites where you can build your skills. I said I was going to come to these. We have Coursera. I'm sure many of us are familiar with Coursera. We have EDX. We have Khan Academy. These websites, they teach different skills. They teach different academic courses as well. So not just skills. You probably there's an issue you're having in your academics or something. You can boost your knowledge from this website. If it is a tech skill you are looking to build, front-end development, back-end, UI, UX, graphic design, coding, mobile app development, as the case may be. You're going to see some courses on Khan Academy, Future Lens, EDX, Udemy, then Allison. I love Allison because it has everything, even vocational skills. Yes, even vocational skills. So you can also enroll, and it is free. Of course, to get certified, you might need to pay some $5, some $10, and for some, it's actually very free. For Coursera, for example, you can apply for financial aid where you won't pay anything at all, and you will get the certificate. I'm able to know one or two or three people who are recipients of that. You just need to probably write like 200 words on why you should be given a scholarship on Coursera, and after like 2 weeks they approve it, and you are able to start the course, enroll in the course, and get the certificate. And also afterschoolafrica.com for those maybe interested in scholarships, in grants, in capacity building programs, in fellowships, as the case may be. You might want to check After School Africa out. It has something for every level, for everybody, not just those in school, even for professional development. Like there's for entrepreneurs, we know about the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurship program. There is one I was going to mention, I think Young Professional Boot Camp. I really can't remember, in Lagos. So there are different programs for early career professionals, for graduate students, entrepreneurs, as the case may be. So I think you should visit afterschoolafrica.com as well. It's really going to help you. You might learn one or two things. Yes. Okay. And also YouTube. I forgot to put that. YouTube is very, very good. You can learn virtually anything via YouTube as well. So if you have data, why not? And so as I conclude, so that we'd have time for questions and discussions, as the case may be. If you want to upskill and bring to the same ground your education and your industry needs, your education and your professional trajectory, these are 5 key things to note. You need to start small. Don't don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid to start one at a time. It is very, very important. I'm going to show you a video now. For example, a video of how little drops of water can make the mighty ocean. You see, little drops of water, little grains of sand make the mighty ocean and the pleasant land, right? So I'm going to show you just this short video. I'm not sure the audio is going to play because we are using Google Meet, and since it's not on the tab, it won't allow, but you can just view and you can write your reflections in the chat box. Okay.
The smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. So carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. The largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than a meter tall. Ready?
Did you see that? So imagine
Smallest domino
very
is about
small,
5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick.
very small
Now
thing
carefully
that he
place
puts
it.
there. See how it affected all of the layers, including the biggest one.
And there are 13 dominoes. The largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds, and it's more than a meter tall. Ready?
The purchase the smallest, and eventually the biggest one fell. So basically,
Smallest domino.
basically that's telling us about the ripple effects our small actions can have, you know. So it's not about how far, it's about how well. Let's just be consistent in those small actions we take, a little here, a little there, and before you know it, before the end of the year, you see how far you've come. So don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid. Start at a point, you know. Don't just gather information. Don't just gather information. Start with what you have. Do you understand? Don't wait for the perfect time. Also, learn to adapt. Learn and adapt is really, really important. I already said that earlier. Keep learning and also adapt. Be flexible. And then apply and iterate. This means, you know, learn to um, apply what you know and do that repeatedly over and again. It's really important. Collaborate, you know, network, be accountable to someone, um, partner with people on ideas, on projects, on initiatives, and embrace change. It is really, really important. And then I'll leave you with a final video talking about the habits of highly effective leaders. You know, in the process of upskilling, in the process of building capacity, efficiency is needed. And for you to be efficient in your endeavor, in that particular field you want to upskill, in that particular area you want to build capacity on, you must have these 9 habits. And I want you to pay close attention to it. Okay. They never stop learning. They help employees and people around them develop. They stay laser focused. You see, they communicate the future clearly. You see the soft skill we talked about. They communicate well. The hire slow, the fire fast. The hire slow and the fire fast. And they are humble. Humility is key. Humility is key in our pursuit in building capacity. And don't be afraid of failure. Don't be averse to failure. Embrace it. And they don't blame people. You know, many people blame a whole lot of things apart from themselves. Effective leaders don't do that. And effective leaders actively solicit for feedback. They want to hear what are they doing better or what are they doing worse that they can do better. So these are the habits of highly effective leaders. If you can do it, you know, um, you become more effective in building that capacity. I'm going to play for the next time, and that will be all for adventure. You've missed it. All right, that will be all for now. Thank you. We can connect on LinkedIn. Olutomowa is my name on LinkedIn. And if you want to know more about the Sapphires Development Initiative, www.tsi.org.ag. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for the opportunity to share. If there's any question now, we can raise our hands or I'll also look out for the chat box. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the amazing and insightful session. We've learned a lot. We've taken so much to take home, so much to process, so much to reflect on. I'm going to allow members of our audience ask questions now. So if you have a question, please raise your hand or you could ask in the chat. Thank you. Okay, I don't see any questions so far.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you, sir.
Okay.
So, suppose a person has upskilled
Okay.
and they've gotten to a certain point, they're now earning an income, and they now
Okay.
feel like, I am no longer satisfied with this trajectory I am on, and they want to like maybe venture into a new kind of path, like a career change. What would be your advice for that kind of a person?
Okay. The person is already earning an income, stable to an extent, and then the person is seeking a change in career. Well, it is very good. It is very good to when you are, say, tired or bored or you've burned out from that previous or existing career you want to change. But at the same time, you need to consider different factors. Like, okay, if you change, how is the income going to be like? Have you saved enough to, you know, to mitigate against the shock you will first have when you entered? Because when you enter the new career, you might not be earning immediately. So it depends, it depends on where you're coming from and where you are going to. So it depends, but you need to not just look for that moment. Don't just think, oh, I want to change and let me change. You need to plan it. At times, you need to strategically plan. It might take months, it might take a year or two, even if you want to have a career change. A year or two in the sense that, okay, or some months as the case may be, depending on where. Depending on, okay, I want to take a new course. I want to get certified in this new career. I want to, so that I'll be able to earn more. Or when I enter, I already know for the first 6 months, I might not be able to earn as much as, as my lifestyle expenses and all of that. So you might need to invest, you might need to save from this previous or existing income from this existing career before you eventually change. So one should consider these different factors before changing. But I'm a fan of once you feel like you should change, your productivity wins already. There's nothing you are doing there, but you don't leave immediately if these things are not in place. I mean, if there's no enough for you in place to still make use of pending the time you get tangible income from the new career trajectory, because it takes time. Okay, so consider those factors as well. That would be my advice to such person.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Okay,
Okay, so another question. Okay, is there any hand raised? I don't see
no,
any
I'm seeing
hands.
some questions in the chat box, but you can ask us, then we will go into
All right then. Okay, so the second question I have is the Nigerian market is fairly competitive, both as a freelancer, whatever skill it is you have, there are like thousands of other people that already have that skill. So how do you stand out? How do you find your own clientele? How do you find your own people that want to, patronize the skill that you have?
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you talked about that the level of competitiveness or the level of competition is very huge. Yes. And one of the things that will make you different is the soft skills you have. Your soft skills will actually make you outstanding. There are many people, for example, in the NGO space that are doing the same thing, but what makes one different is the creativity, the innovation, the soft skill we talk about, the ability to be able to think that, okay, how can I get the attention of people? Okay, for example, content creators, there are lots of them, but some are outstanding than the other because the content is, attractive, is meeting the needs of people in a way. So your soft skills will actually make you stand out. For example, freelancing jobs, everybody is doing it. But when you are more creative about yours, when you deliver above the norm, you surpass the expectations of your employer, for instance, there is a way you get more recognized. So all of this is based on how creative you are, how innovative, how much you're able to communicate effectively, and all of these things. So focus on your soft skills. When you have the hard skills, just like every other person, focus on the soft skills. That also works in research. For example, many people are researchers, many people are publishing and all, but what is a grant worthy idea? An idea that can, you know, bring more attention to your career. So you need to be creative, you need to be innovative, look for what people have not done before, which is very hard, of course, but there's a way you can do it to, be more creative about things, and yes, you get more outstanding than the rest. Everybody likes to do things generally, so you will look for, okay, which other approach should I bring to this particular business that is different from what others are doing? You get it? So that's what I think you should do.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you
You're
for your
welcome.
response. Okay. Do you want
Esther,
to take questions from the chat, or can Esther go?
Esther should go.
Okay, Esther, go ahead.
Okay, I think Esther wants to type. Let's go into the chat box. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for the kind words. I appreciate it. Oluwaseun David said, what do you do when you don't have the right tools to learn a particular skill? Well, that depends on the skill you want to learn. Get the right tools. Like I said, you see everything online. For example, YouTube. If you have data to stream this meeting, for instance, if you have data to go to Instagram, to go on TikTok, you might as well use some of that data for YouTube to learn a particular skill. Although I don't know the type of skill it is, but virtually everything is on YouTube, I tell you. Virtually everything. You can just search how to learn this particular skill and you see that. So you can start from there. It will give you, some insight as to how to eventually get the right tools. Then Oluwaseun Davis said, okay, the skill is important in upskilling. Okay, well, I think you need to put a context to it. Okay, so Wester Sean said, there is this dilemma I'm in my final year in school. I'm starting to discover that I don't want to practice in this profession at all. But there's the fear of that past years of my life being a waste. I have this other career path I'm passionate about, and I'm willing to get into it any day, anytime. Should I start with the career related to my course or just go right into the later? I have the necessary tools to pursue the career. Then you should just go into the later. Nothing is wasted. Don't feel like, oh, you are wasting. The fact that you are getting that certificate already positioned, it positions you for something. For example, there are a lot of opportunities that will say only bachelor in science and above. Okay, OND and above, HND and above. They won't say HND in anything or OND in this. For example, banking job. You see someone with BSc in Yoruba working in the bank. Fine. You get what I'm saying? Like every, so don't feel like you are wasting, you've wasted your time in that particular career if you don't practice eventually in it. There is a way you can even use the knowledge from that career, if possible. I don't know your course, but there's a way it will be useful later. There is a way to always be useful, so it's not wasted. But once you already have the necessary tools to pursue the new career path and you are passionate about it, because passion is very key in excellence. If you want to excel in anything, you have to be passionate. So if you are passionate about it, you're enthusiastic about it, most likely you'll be diligent in it. And once you are diligent, you're going to get the results. So I think you already have the necessary tools. You should pursue that career, but do everything necessary. Don't drop out of school. Finish and finish well. Anything that is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Finish well. Then once you are done, you can start the career you want to. That's my advice. That is what I think. The knowledge and facilities required to improve myself, but the not course related one is not as clear. It's fine. Although I'm curious about the course, maybe it could help us put some context to it. But if not, what I said earlier works as well. Okay, Kelamideko says I have two questions, but before that, thank you so much. Thank you too. I feel I'm equipped. Thank you. Is it okay that my studied course is completely unrelated to the career path I seek to pursue? Will upskilling still be able to bridge that gap? Yes, of course. No matter what. Once you're able to take courses, for instance, if you study, I'm not sure, say you study chemical engineering and you're able to get certified in data analytics, you're a data analyst, you're going to get paid for that. You'll be employed and you get paid for data analytics, even when you have a BSc in chemical engineering. I know people with bachelors in geology and they are data analysts now. Many, 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 many. So once you are able to build capacity and get certified, take courses related to that, it is very, very possible. For instance, let me tell you just a very short story of mine. I studied economics in school. Then during my master's program in Russia, I had to work as an English teacher. So now I was going to work as an English teacher, and it means I already did well in the interview. I mean, they put me in the class with the kids, and the kids really loved me and all. And then the administrator said, you need to have a teaching certificate for us to be able to employ you. I'm like, what? My village people finally got me. I studied economics. I've passed the interview. Everything was already fine. I should resume immediately, but they need a teaching certificate. I now remember. So she was like, do you have any certification in teaching? I now remembered that some months before, I took a course on Allison, which is titled Teaching English as a Foreign Language or something like that. Teaching English as a second language, or as the case may be. So I told them, I said, yes, I have a certificate. I will just go back to the portal and pay for it. It was $5 at the time. I'll pay for it and get it. And that was how I got the job as an English teacher while I was studying economics, or while I studied economics. So even if it's totally unrelated, once you build your skills for it, you build capacity and you get certified, nobody cares what your bachelor's was or your ND was. Is there a point where upskilling is no longer needed? I don't think so, because we need to keep learning. It's a lifelong process. Yes, there's a point where we become stable and we are not upskilling per se for income. So maybe we are upskilling for impact, or we are upskilling just for the knowledge of, as the case may be. Yeah. So Odunayola said, my question is on time management. My current course is time consuming. I want to develop my research skills and take courses in public health field to measure up with people. I have a lot of unfinished courses. I'm able to attend some events related to my field. What advice do you have for me? Wow, this is a lot. I understand as a medical student, You said that earlier. As a medical student, I know there is a lot. Um, but when it comes to time management, I will still say we go back to the basics of a to-do list. A to-do list is going to really work wonders. You might not be able to tick 10 out of 10, but if you're able to tick 8 out of 10, go to bed knowing at least you've done some good for the day. You know, we are not machines, and we there are times we have lazy days, or there are times the work is just very overwhelming and all of that. For example, your classes and all. So don't feel bad. Whatsoever you can do it and do it well. The ones you can't do, defy it till later. You will eventually do them. For example, you might need to, give up some opportunities because you have to focus more in school, you have to focus more in class. That's fine. You are delaying gratification. Okay. So later on, you're still going to pick it up and you'll be better off for it. But you need to, weigh it, do your cost benefit analysis. If I focus on research skills and some courses I'm doing online, and I drop out of medical school, which one is more dangerous? So when you are able to do your cost benefit analysis, you'll be able to make your decisions. And for time management, have a to-do list and try to get an accountability partner that would work with you on that. Okay, so another question: as someone who is quite multifaceted, I tend to develop a lot of interests and lose interests just as quickly. This ends up affecting my productivity. Is there anything that can be done in such a situation? Yes, I think I can relate with this. For someone like someone who gets bored easily, there is a way when you have interest in something, you try to do well with it, and after a while you just lose interest. So what you need to work on is how to be committed and consistent. So you can make up your mind that, okay, I'm going to be committed and consistent by setting clear and smart goals for yourself in that particular endeavor. The 8 steps I talked about earlier can actually work here. After identifying, you need to now learn to um what's it now? For the 8 steps we talked about, you must learn how to be committed, be consistent. You must learn to um okay, that skipped my mind. Let me check. You must learn to set clear and smart goals. You must learn to be accountable. If you are not accountable to anybody, it's easy to lose interest and you just move on. So, but set clear goals and be accountable as well. Yes, when you're accountable, you have someone that is putting you on your toes and all of that. And you should understand that if you keep jumping from one endeavor to another, you won't grow. So if you are passionate about your growth, you need to sit down and build. So knowing this will improve your consistency and commitment. Okay, someone asked a question and I hope it has been answered. Please let me know if your question has been answered. Adeoye said, given the competitive nature of seizing opportunities, what advice would you offer in a case where I consistently apply for various prospects, but repeatedly facing rejections in favor of younger candidates? Despite my innovative ideas and effort, I realize that age seems to be a disadvantage in the selection process. How can I effectively navigate and overcome this challenge? Well, you cannot decrease your age. I mean, on paper, unfortunately, it's already there, except you want to reduce, which I won't advise. That's non-ethical. So, you just asked my question. I mean, this happens to me practically. So what I do is I just move on and just try to do as much as I can. See, some opportunities are not meant for you, no matter how much you desire them. I've come to understand that. So don't just see it as okay because there are younger candidates. Even if there are no younger candidates, if it won't come to you, it won't come to you. And there are some applications that you won't expect, and they will eventually, give you congratulations. opportunities like that has happened to me. So if you are repeatedly facing rejections, look at something apart from the age. Is there something you need to do better? The quality of your project, the creativity and innovation, bring it into play. What can I do differently? You see, if you are doing the same thing the younger candidates are doing, then it's just logical to pick them. So probably you should do something differently. So you said you have innovative ideas. Probably you need to have more innovative ideas than the younger ones. And still believe that no matter the rejection, you must learn to embrace failure. Like see it as, a prerequisite for success. So keep at it. Don't stop. Eventually, fortune will smile on you. Okay. Okay, I think this is the last question. I have an interest in a skill totally unrelated to my course, and I've been able to upskill by taking certified online courses. Considering the competitive market where one needs to have experience to apply for opportunities or be given opportunity, how do I go about it? Knowing I have an opportunity to garner the experience that I need to apply for opportunities. Okay, a lot of opportunities in this question, but it's fine. Yes. So if I understand this question, you're saying so you're interested in something that is not related to your course. You've done certified online courses. Okay. For the competitive market, probably you need some practical hands-on experience, internships, volunteer in that particular space, do something more than online courses. Internships would work, fellowships, more practical trainings so that when the opportunity comes, you've garnered the experience, not just online courses, but internships, volunteering, fellowships, as the case may be. So I think that's what you should do. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I've been able to answer as much questions as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, this session has been wonderful. Personally, I've been taking notes upon notes from right off the bat from the beginning. I've learned so much I'm going to implement, so much I'm going to apply to my personal life. I'm sure the testimony is going to be like the same across board. We've really learned a lot, and we're so grateful that you honored our request to be here with us today. Thank you so much once
Thank you for
again.
inviting me.
And to our participants that stayed through to the end, I hope it was everything you expected it to be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone, because I know how how precious our time can be. You could have spent the last hour and a half maybe scrolling on the internet or doing whatever, but you chose to be here. So I hope it was worth the time that you spent here. I hope you learned something that's going to help your life going forward. Again, our organization is called Bloxys Incorporated. If you want to learn more about us, feel free to check out our Instagram. I feel like that's where we are most active for now. That's our most active social media. We'll be happy to connect with you. If you have a follow-up email, feel free to reach out to the speaker via his LinkedIn. I think he shared that earlier, but we are going to send it out again. So you can reach out to him via his LinkedIn, or you can shoot him an email as well. Thank you so much, everyone. We've come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Mr. Tomiwa, if you're still on the call, I wanted to thank you again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the session. So, can you hear me, sir? Are you still on the call? Debbie, can you hear me?